here to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers game against the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors won this game 126 to 113. It was pretty handily won. Unfortunately for the Cavs, they came off a back-to-back. They did rest some players, but they didn't seem to do the job. They tried to make a run in the third and then again in the fourth, but the Raptors seem to hold their own. Actually, more than hold their own. They are getting better, but they seem to have hit a stride, and it was showing today, and it's definitely going to show in the matchups as I go through them today. The numbers really tell a good story. The only story that I'm not going to be able to tell through these numbers and these matchups is the story of the bench. Jamal Shed, we're going to have to consider this guy a big dog right now. You can see Jamal Shed, you can see Mamu gaining their confidence, contributing more and more, and these are really confident players. These are players who apparently don't have any fear. At least it didn't show tonight, and I was really impressed. So the matchups we'll be doing today are Scotty Barnes versus Evan Mobley, Ep12 versus Jarrett Allen, and Emmanuel Quickley versus Donovan Mitchell. The Cavs have their point guard out. Darius Garland is out. Unfortunately for them, we just have to take advantage. No love for the other team just because they're short a player. We're short players all the time. I think that our losing streak at the beginning of the season had to do with Poeltl not being 100%. As soon as he came back, the only game that we'd lost since we had started winning was against the 76ers, and he wasn't there. That was our back-to-back. Fortunately for the 76ers, they got to pull through that one. I don't think the Raptors are very easy to beat, so let's get into the numbers. Let's examine why they beat the Cavs tonight. So between Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes really performed well. I'm assuming Evan Mobley might have been tired from the game before, game last night that they played, because basically he got crushed here. Scotty Barnes made 12 of 22 shots for 54.5% shooting for 28 points. He hit 1 of 4 3-pointers, so he hit 1 3-pointer. He had 10 rebounds, 6 stocks, again 5 blocks this game, and 1 steal. It was great. Once again, 1 late turnover, making his assist to turnover just 4. You see the difference between having 2 or less and 3 and up turnovers. You'll see the difference in a later matchup. Scotty Barnes is really taking care of the ball. 1 turnover was a long pass that got picked off. You can make mistakes, learn from them. Apparently he had another turnover early in the game, but he had 8 assists. This is the formula they need to win. This is almost a triple-double again. 8 assists, 10 rebounds, 28 points. And his plus-minus shows the difference up against Evan Mobley's. Evan Mobley had negative 18. Scotty Barnes, plus 18 on the plus-minus. I'm gonna give this matchup already to Scotty Barnes, but let's still go through Evan Mobley's numbers, even though he had a stinker tonight. So Evan Mobley had 7 points, 2 of 7 shooting for 28.6%. That's not very good. At least Donovan Mitchell was resting last night in the back-to-back. I guess they're trying to be ready for us, but that didn't work. Evan Mobley had 1 3-pointer, 9 rebounds, only 1 stock or 1 steal, and the negative 18. Again, Mobley didn't do bad with the assist-to-turnover ratio. He only had 1 turnover, 3 assists. His stat line isn't terrible. It's just pretty muted for what we would expect from Evan Mobley. I'm not sure if the back-to-back was the issue or if it was just the Raptors. The Raptors played a really good game. Scotty Barnes played a really good game. Kudos to him, and of course he wins this matchup. The next matchup we're going to look at is Ep12 versus Jarrett Allen. This was a bit of a breakout game for Jakob. He hasn't been scoring that much. He had that back injury at the beginning of the season, so he was laboring a bit. The last couple games he has not looked like he is laboring. He looks pretty agile out there. His play is showing. So Ep12 scored 20 points, 7 of 10 shooting, 70%, 6 of 6 free throws. I have to mention that is a big plus. He hadn't been doing so good with his free throws, but that apparently has changed this game. 8 rebounds, 2 stocks, that's 2 steals. He also had an assist to turnover ratio of 3 assists and no turnovers, so 3 to infinity. His plus minus was a +7. When you're solid taking care of the ball, don't turn the ball over at all, usually your plus minus is going to show those sort of results, depending on the rest of the game, of course. A lot of factors factors always matter when you're talking about plus minus, because of course 4 other players on your team are on the court. Now moving on to Jared Allen. Jared Allen had 6 points only on 3 of 6 shooting for 50%, 8 rebounds, 2 stocks, a steal, and a block. His assist to turnover ratio was quite the opposite of Jakob Poeltl. He had 2 turnovers and no assists, so I don't even know how to count that. Don't even really need to. That's just terrible. You gave the ball away twice. Your team had it. You missed out on those points 2 times and gave the other team a chance to score 2 times. That's negative and positive. You know, I don't like to get too far into it, but I just really hate turnovers. And when you do too many of them, it really hurts. 2 is not that bad, but when you don't have any assists, I'm not sure what other impact he had on the game with these stats, but I think the back-to-back, I think he had a big night last night, and I think he was one of the main folks who would have been affected by the game last night. They're back-to-back, so you know, we can give him a bit of a bly on that one, but at the same time, that's not good enough. That's not going to beat the Raptors, not now. They're doing too well. You know, wake-up call for certain teams if they're going to bring out their B squad on a second half of a back-to-back to try to beat us. I think we're just better than most teams are expecting, even though the additions of Brandon Ingram and essentially Emmanuel Quickley this season, who barely played last season, I think it should make a huge difference. That said, Jared Allen did terrible. Jakob Poeltl won this matchup. So we're just going to move on to the next one, which would be Emmanuel Quickley versus Donovan Mitchell. Well. This seems like a matchup that should be lopsided, right? I think efficiency matters, and in this matchup between Quickley and Donovan Mitchell, it really showed how scoring is essential, but inefficient scoring, inefficient ball managing can really hamper the outcome of the game. So with no further ado, we're going to start with Emmanuel Quickley, who had 25 points on 10 of 13 shooting, 77%, 5 of 7 3-pointers, 71% of his 3-point shots. It's amazing. It was a great game by Emmanuel Quickley. He also had 1 rebound, 0 stocks. He was too busy on the offensive end. His assist to turnover ratio was 3 to 1. He had 6 assists and 2 turnovers. Again, not that many. He hasn't been that sort of guard in his career, and not so much now either. He doesn't turn the ball over like that, so he maintained that this game. But the 10 of 13 shots, that's extremely efficient, and when you shoot like that, the odds are not only you're going to win the game, you're going to win the matchup. So now let's go through Donovan Mitchell's stats. He had 31 points. That's a great point total, but on 7 of 18 shooting, 1 less shot, and that's 33% shooting. His field goal percentage was 39%. It's really so-so. He hit 2 3-pointers. He took 9. It's not efficient at all. He did hit 15 of 17 free throws, which means the rest were definitely on his side. He knows how to get foul calls. He knows how to draw fouls on opposing players, so I can't knock it. It's part of the game. But that being said, he also had 6 rebounds, 3 stocks, and this is where I think you can lose the game without even knowing until you see the stat after the game. 7 turnovers, 6 assists, but 7 turnovers for an assist to turnover ratio of less than 1, but it's the volume. 2 points per possession on 7 turnovers. That could be a ton of points. It could be over 20 points. Obviously, it could be 0 points, but odds are the other team's going to score on a few of those. And I always say it, you lost your opportunity to score, they gained an opportunity to score, and it's too much of it is detrimental to your team, and it's just going to do too much damage, too much to repair. The Cavs lost by 13 tonight, but I will tell you, they could have lost by a lot more. The Raptors held them down pretty well. They're a good team, but 7 turnovers is going to lose you a game, in my opinion. For a person that's handling the ball that much, it's too much damage. Unfortunately for Donovan Mitchell, I think that lost him the game, and it definitely lost him the matchup against Emmanuel Quickley. Shout out to Ingram and the bench boys in the end of the first quarter, early second quarter. They really brought some toughness and some mature play to the Cavs. The Cavs couldn't handle it. At the end of the first quarter, the Cavs looked disheveled, despondent. I think they had something like an 8 to 10 point lead at one point in the first quarter, and the Raptors dissolved it without flinching. Very calmly and collectedly just tied the game by the end of the quarter. And the Cavaliers, they were resisting heavily. It really looked like they had nothing for us. They did come off the back-to-back, but it was the first quarter. They looked Like, they either played a really tough game the night before, or they just didn't know what to do on us on defense. These are the type of games where we can take advantage of things like that. And, you know, we're going to have lapses in our defense and our offense and have things that we have to tighten up. But when it comes to later on in the season, we really have to face tough teams at their best. These are the type of games that are really going to help. It's great that we can learn while we're winning rather than tough losses, your mind getting preoccupied with the fact that, you know, it didn't go your way. But the Raptors played great. Scotty Barnes played extremely great. Emmanuel quickly played great. The bench played great. Mamu is coming into his own. Jamal Shed is a big dog. Kudos to the Raptors. They're 2 games over 500, and this is the first time that's happened. They said a stat on the broadcast. I really couldn't believe it. I don't even remember it right now, but it's a long time. It's been a long time. This is a new team. I have belief in them, and I think they're really going to go far this season. The East is weak, so let's take advantage. Anyways, Raptor fans, you have a good one. My name is Ep12. Peace out.